Hi guys, and welcome to Anatomy of a Movie News for the week of August 20th. So, Marissa, what do you got up for us first?
Well, I'm not into gaming, and I'm not sure if you are, but the thing that I found interesting was Activision, the famous video publishing company, is actually starting to form their own movie studio division, which I thought was very interesting.
That's interesting. To me, we talked about last week, or maybe it was even the week before, about BuzzFeed starting a movie division too. So to me, it's just interesting that all of these kind of niche markets are now bursting into film. We're so used to the big names like, Paramount and MGM,
WB,
whatever. And now it's going into these kind of separate markets. Gaming, BuzzFeed, and I'm wondering if they're going to target their films in that direction. So if they're going to be kind of gaming-oriented films, or if they are going to be doing dramas and comedies and all over the map.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and Activision is in the early stages of creating its own internal film development to develop studio and film and TV projects based on their Activision games.
Okay, so it is gaming
Activision
oriented.
games. But the thing with Activision, most of the games that they publish are already licensed content that's not original. So if they were to produce films and TV, it would have to be Activision's own original content. But their only original content are usually games that they published back in the 1980s, early 1990s. So if they were to go ahead with the films, they might have to go back a few years to publish those games. Or just create brand new original content.
Bring on a lot of new people, new stories, whatever it is. That's a cool expansion for the company. And obviously they have a huge fan base to draw from, which is very important when making movies. So speaking of someone who has a huge fan base, Leonardo DiCaprio is using his very talented voice to do the voiceover of a short film about climate change. So he also helped produce it. It's 8 minutes long, and it's called Carbon. And he produced this with Tree Media, and it's the first film in a series called Green World Rising that they're supposed to release all of these. I think there's a couple of them. They're supposed to release them all by September, but it's bringing awareness to climate change, to less use of carbon fuels and everything like that. So he's using his celebrity for good.
Oh, that's great. And a lot of people will probably watch that. And it's great to get that awareness out.
Mm-hmm. And he's a really big advocate of all those subjects. He's very involved politically. And so that will be short. And it's just 8 minutes. So check it out.
It's very short. So it doesn't take a lot of time. That's great. Speaking of climate changes, we're going to talk about a movie that might have had a big climate change if things didn't happen the way it did. Pixar's The Good Dinosaur film
Dinosaurs!
That was originally supposed to be slated out for the 2014 summer season. It is now completely reimagined. Because as you know, the original director of that film dropped out. So that pushed the Pixar movie to next year. So leaving Pixar without a film of the 2014 year.
Which I'm sure they weren't too happy about. And that's a lot of work and effort. I'm not sure how far they got along in the animation stages before they had this whole reshift. But that is hours and hours and hours of work lost. And on top of that, Pixar not having a movie this year,
Pixar probably lost a good amount of money that they could have, especially following up to Frozen.
And this was a big year for animated films. Frozen did huge. And then I know you had more news about How to Train Your Dragon.
I did.
Also, so Pixar missing out this year.
Yeah, but just going back to Good Dinosaur real quickly, John Lithgow, who voiced the main dinosaur character, he provides the voice for the main character, and he said, I recorded the entire role in Good Dinosaur. They have now dismantled it and completely reimagined it, and it is a new fantastic story. So, and he continues, I'm going to record it again within the next month, being September 2014, but don't worry, it's coming and it's going to be better than imagined.
Well, I'm all for improvement, and that's great that he's still on board. Not sure I love the title so much, The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, but because of all these changes too, they did film and record other celebrities who were part of the film. Bill Hader, Neil Patrick Harris, Judy Greer, all these names are attached, but because they're completely dismantling it and putting it back together, we don't know if those characters are still a part of the film. So it'll be fun to see. And that film will be coming out next year in 2015.
Okay. We'll look out for that.
And then another fun, just quickly, How to Train Your Dragon 2, which we know that was a great film this year. It recently opened up in China, and that opening, they had a 5.6 million opening day in China, and that 5.6 million pushed them over the 500 million mark, making How to Train Your Dragon 2 the most grossing animated movie of 2014.
There we go. That was what I was waiting for.
And to think they were worried How to Train Your Dragon wasn't going to do well.
I don't even know how. I was convinced it was going to be top of the box office. I was proved pretty wrong. I thought it was going to maintain that number one spot for weeks, and it didn't. But the movie didn't let me down. I loved it. So if you haven't seen it yet, go out there, watch it. It's amazing. So, kind of sad news for film lovers out there. The iconic Leonard Maltin's movie guide is ending.
Aww.
So this volume's been around for 45 years. They're coming out with the final edition. The volumes are normally about 1,600 pages.
Yes.
And they cover about 16,000 movie reviews. People are kind of pointing at the internet saying it's people going online for reviews and stuff like that, which I kind of hope you do, because we do in a way of languages. But it is sad. This was an iconic piece of film history that he put so much love into. So the final edition's coming out in September. If you guys want to grab that, it just is a part of film history.
Yeah, and all those books, if you've ever read them, you know, they're so detailed oriented, and very in-depth discussions on film in general. I mean, if you're a big movie buff, you've at least read one of them.
They're around. So you guys check out for the final edition. And I guess that's just a moment of silence for that book. So sad.
Sad.
And now we've got final news. Got some tidbits about Dumb and Dumber, don't we?
Yes, and we'll end on a funnier note. The new Dumb and Dumber 2 movie posters have been released, and they're actually spoofing the Lucy film, the Scarlett Johansson film. So if you've seen the Lucy poster, you know it's Lucy's face, and the title and the tagline says the average person uses 10% of their brain. Imagine what she could do with 100%. That's the Lucy photo. But now Dumb and Dumber's tagline is the average person uses 10% of the brain. Imagine what they could do with 1%.
I absolutely love this change of tagline. I think it's hilarious. I also love that they're spoofing this other movie poster. Just in general, I think people realize that a lot of movie posters have the same layout.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that they're bringing such a recent one and really pointing a finger at that, I think it's great. It's a great play on words. I think they could go so over the top with this. I want like fake everything posters. Like I want Dumb and Dumber plays on the Mutant Ninja Turtles poster.
Mm-hmm.
I just want spoofs of all of them to advertise this movie because I think it would be hilarious. Good job to your marketing team taking a risk and just being like, don't care.
It's so funny, and the fact that both of Lucy and Dumb and Dumber are Universal Pictures, so they're pretty much spoofing themselves, which is great. And just looking at these photos made me laugh out loud and makes me excited for the film. I mean, great advertising.
I mean, they're back. Dumb and Dumber are coming back.
So that is all we have for Anatomy of a Movie news for August 20th. Thank you all for listening. You can check out everything out and all of our dissections on anatomyofamovie.com.